So I want to give you a fresh perspective. And I really want to help you right now. Yes, I'm talking to you. If you're watching this video and you're feeling squeezed, if you're feeling like the prices is out of control, and you really honestly, transparently in your home watching this video say, hey, I literally don't know how I'm gonna make this work. I want to offer you some information, some things you can do to help get yourself going. So stay tuned and please watch every video this week. Hi, my name is Jonathan. I want to help you build your wealth. And first, we got to stabilize your money. See, while I can tell you, hey, the real indicators of the economy doing well is gross domestic product has increased by 2% the last quarter. Unemployment rate is at 3.5%. And while it may not seem like a good thing, the economy still added 187,000 jobs just this past month. All those things tell you, by definition, is how the economy is measured for success, or there may be problems. But that means nothing when you have to go pick up groceries. That means nothing when you have a car payment due and you have to pay childcare. Your insurance rates have gone up because guess what? Car prices have increased and it's more expensive to actually repair a collision from an accident. Those are the things that you have to understand of why these prices are going up. And though you may not have an accident, the accidents that occur around you and in your area affect your insurance rate. And so you get those increased costs. But that does nothing because it's not helping your situation, because your job that once supplied you with enough income is now not meeting those needs. You know, the hardest part about doing this money thing is the self-awareness piece. When I realized that, yes, inflation, if you want to say that, even though prices are slow, costs are still high on everything compared to your income. Well, that's always been something. And if you talk to me, I will tell you, income has always been an issue no matter what decade you're living in. But now, because the numbers are so large, that's where you're starting to feel the squeeze. The fact is, you have to make some choices now. The fact is, you have to sit down and say, hey, I want to get out of this. Now, in order to get out of this, the first thing, unfortunately, as a human, you have to say, hey, I made a multitude of decisions. And though it may be ignorance that has happened, ignorance meaning I didn't know necessarily what all my options are. I didn't really understand how this decision back then would affect my now situation. Forgive yourself for all that, because guess what? I have. And truth be told, whatever you did years from now, that's not going to help you. You can't change that. But what you can do is change things right now. What you can do is understand that, okay, I'm going to change some things. Financially, it's not going to feel good. My reality is really going to be uncomfortable because it's going to be different from what I know. But on the other side of this, I'm going to reach a level of financial freedom that's going to allow me to breathe easier, sleep peaceful at night. You start that by understanding that in order for you to get control of your bills, you have to understand that, hey, I need to really understand what's important. The first thing on everything, every time you get paid, and the way I do it is I always give away. Now, I know you may not be religious or anything of that nature, but I always give away 10%. And you don't have to give it to the church. You can give it to someone in need or someplace you want to see an impact. But I suggest starting with that 10%. The fact is, when you give away that 10%, it allows your mind to be free. It allows your hand to start to open up. And when your hand starts to open up, interestingly enough, more resources can be put into it. I say this because I'm telling you what I did. I lived a life where I didn't give my 10%, at least bare minimum. And the things that would pop up, the happenstance, the accidents, the tickets, the this is now due, the late fee or something else popping up would just come crashing down. And I realized even though I was living on less, 10% less, right after I got my check, I now had the opportunity to do more. I had more as a result of my giving. So the first thing I want you to do is give away 10%. The second thing I want you to do is focus strictly on the things that are most important. The most important bills that you have in the month. Forget everything else. I don't care if you got collections. I don't care if you got credit. I don't care about card note. I don't care about any of that. The next thing after giving is my house. Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have food on my table? I have a car that gets me back and forth to work. And then if I need clothes, am I able to put some clothes on my back? These are the 4 things that are critical to everyone's budget. These are the things that are defined as your needs. Anything outside these 4 things is not a need. Now, do you need to stay in the most expensive place? No. Do you need to buy the most expensive food? Can you buy more meals that you can stretch out? Yes. In the car. And you guys know, if you watch any of my content, I'm not too heavy on the car. But are you driving really an affordable car that's durable for you? May not actually be the sexiest thing, but it will free up cash so that you can get ahead financially. These are the things that you really need to be focused in on your needs, because 2 of them are going to be your biggest money turnaround. Your rent, mortgage, and your car. Because if you can get a control of those, it makes a lot of decisions easier after that. The next thing I want you to do is, after that, you have to think about, what debt do I have? And if I do have debt and I already know my income's estranged, now I have to think about, how can I increase my income? How can I get a raise in my job? My job didn't give me much, because guess what? Salaries didn't keep up with inflation, right? So that means what? In this hot job market that I have, where there are 2 jobs for every person, can I get a job that increasing my income with my skill set in the marketplace, 10, 12, maybe even $15,000 extra? And then on top of that, can I find me some sort of side hustle that allows me to make an extra $250 to $500 every weekend? And I'm going to work, because guess what? That's what I did. And I did all these things because guess what? I wasn't making 6 figures. And as I told you in some of my previous videos, I just got my Social Security statement. And it was interesting to see how long I actually made $20,000 in my lifetime. And how long did I actually make over 6 figures? I knew that before, but it's just the fact of, I realized down deep that I'm like, it was never the income. It was what I was doing with my income that really stopped me from being able to understand. Now, yeah, I sit here from a teacher's seat, and I sit here with my financial situation definitely being a lot different than it was 10 years ago. And the problems that I have financially, I would consider them, and I call it first world problems. They're not really what I would define and what my friends would define problems. But I will tell you this. If you can get control of these things and understand and give yourself forgiveness and understand that if the job is not keeping up with the bills, you have to change something. If they wasn't keeping up with it yesterday, they're not keeping up with it tomorrow. You have to go about a different way. You have to change something. Otherwise, sitting there changes nothing. You can complain about what's going around you. I get it. It's hard. I can acknowledge that just like everybody else. But whether you're evaluating economic success differently or looking at the wrong thing, for me, that's irrelevant. Because the real truth of the matter is, you have to change something to get your situation different. That's the fact. And if you're willing to do that, that's how you're going to get ahead. Because all those other things, quite frankly, you don't control. This is part 1. And we're going to keep going on this pathway, because I really think it's important now that you understand you can do something. You can do more to change your environment and your situation than look the other way. Hi, my name is Jonathan. I want to help you build your wealth. Follow me for more.